3-ingredient cheesy sweet plantain empanada? Yes, please.
I made it, so come on this emotional roller coaster with me. I really do think that it started off right here. I was looking for the most ripe bananas. Honestly, I have never cooked with plátanos as much as I have this year. I just guess they weren't ripe enough. I got the plátanos and the mozzarella because I already had all-purpose flour at home. I then was trying to get a satisfying shot of me peeling these plátanos machos, but then realized that they were really difficult to peel and they weren't doing it as satisfyingly as I thought. But look at that shot, I had to include it. But I wanted to keep it real with you guys. I guess I just didn't choose ripe enough ones because I had to use a knife to take off the peel. And they weren't as soft as the other plátanos that I used for a separate recipe, so I was already getting kind of bummed. But just like she said,
en este caso y en esta casa no desperdiciamos el dinero, okay?
So I had her words of wisdom while I was creating this recipe. So they did look soft enough for the next process. I waited about 15 minutes though, but now that I'm making this video, I can see that they still look dry and they probably weren't completely ready. I added 1 heaping spoonful of all-purpose flour, and then I got my potato masher to try to get a satisfying shot of me mashing it correctly, but that's when I realized that this video wasn't going to be the way I assumed it was. But again, I wanted to be honest with you and not do any edits with my mistakes. Because I had already added the all-purpose flour, I couldn't go back and reboil the plátanos machos, so I just went in with my really clean hands and just began putting everything together, mashing it all together so it could become a ball just like that. I did notice that it was kind of stiff when I did this, but with her words of wisdom in my head, I just kept going and I'm like, we're gonna make this work somehow. I was able to like mash it all together so it could look like that. I added my cheese of choice, which in this case was the mozzarella. I folded it like this, but as you can see, it began to crack. So I just put my plastic wrap over it again and I just started applying pressure so that everything can be together as much as possible. But when I placed it down in a frying pan with a little bit of oil, it began cracking again. So what I did is I added a little bit of water to it because I did not want to change the recipe, and it became easier to work with this way. I knew because the plátanos machos weren't completely ripe, they weren't going to be as sweet. I was still going to do it the way that she taught us and see what I can do at the end if it wasn't going to come out to my liking. And I put everything together and I was able to make them. I did make them pretty big. If I did this again in the future, I would make them a little bit smaller, but I just wanted to see how this recipe would turn out. When I fried them, they had that beautiful, bright, golden yellow that I loved, and I thought it was so beautiful. It actually ended up working out. The one that you're seeing there, that there's the one where I added a little bit of water to it. So I had to add water to it. And this here is the moment of truth. I wanted that cheese pull. If you guys follow me, you know I love me some cheese pull, and it looked amazing. It did taste really good too, but I did add some sugar, try to get some sweetness had I gotten the right type of plátanos machos. But no regrets making it. I will make it again.